Okay, we are live. Hello and welcome to Talk Chef. I am one of your hosts, Reka.
I'm your other host, Jordan.
And today we have the very funny, very talented Carla Torres as our guest.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, Carla, thank you so much for being on. Carla and I worked together on Grand Crew, that NBC show that you might remember Iffy was working on and David Phillips was working on. And Carla's a big foodie, and I really like that about her. And
we bonded.
Say again.
We bonded over food instantly.
We very much bonded over food. Carla took my recommendation of going to Bridgetown Rothi extremely seriously and immediately went.
That's a good rack.
It was a good rack. Carla is also a Top Chef fan, right? From the early days?
From the early days, yes. I stopped after Nina Compton. So...
Yeah. And that's understandable. For those who haven't seen, season 11 is a real head scratcher. That's one of those seasons where there is a clear, like, it's almost like, did they have to edit this season to make it look like she wasn't going to win from day one?
Yeah.
And the person you think is going to win does not win. It is pretty bad. But yeah, we're so pumped to have you here. A couple orders of business. As you guys know, this is a food charity-based live stream. And every season we're raising money for a different food-based charity. And this season's no different than last season in that we are going to do a big fundraiser at the end of season 5's episodes. So stay tuned for that. We're going to hopefully make it just as fun as the last season, which was making all of us sweat in our seats as we raise that money. Again,
I think we can do it.
I think we can do it. We raised over $1,000 for the Haitian Bridge Alliance. I think we can freaking do it again.
We can do it again for a different charity. Drop it in the chat if you think we can do it again.
Drop it in the chat if you think we can do it again. Drop it in the chat if
we can do it again.
Okay, Carla thinks we can do it again.
Carla.
3 people. Drop in the chat if you think we can do it again. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. We hope it's going to be just as fun and exciting and insane and sweat-inducing as the last one. Second order of business, Carla, is something we didn't tell you, but because you're a detective and you watched previous episodes, you figured it out. You cracked the code. All you have to do is watch the first 5 minutes of any of these episodes. Because just like every episode of Top Chef has a quick fire, so does every episode of Talk Chef.
I am ready.
So
let's go.
You don't even need the spiel, but I'll give it to you anyway, which is that this is not a spooky trivia challenge. It is a Carla preference challenge. So we're going to ask you 10 questions.
Except I did throw a little trivia question in this one for the first time ever.
Talk up, Jordan. Don't
It doesn't matter if you get it right or not, but there is one little trivia question.
Jordan, it's not October. Don't scare her.
It's kind of freaky.
Oh.
Okay. This is unheard of. All right, you guys heard it here. We're going to scare the shit out of Carla with one trivia question. And it won't be like, oh, who's the,
no,
prime minister of whatever. It will probably be based in this episode. So you'll have 45 seconds to answer 10 questions. That's the fastest quickfire in Top Chef history. And in case you're kind of like doing your classic Carla thing where you're like, fuck everything, I don't care.
This is stupid.
That's stupid. I hate this. I hate rules. That's classic Carla.
It is classic Carla.
Yeah, it was an issue. We have some prizes that you might be tempted by.
I heard the elusive wine.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Yes, the iconic Terlato wine.
And this is actually really cool because I know Carla likes wine and we just worked on a show about a wine bar. So it's doubly interesting that you maybe have also not heard of this wine brand, Carla, Terlato wine.
Yeah.
Terlato. Rika, you don't even know what it's called anymore?
Terlato. I think because I said Carla and then I said Terlato, I said Tarlato.
It's a tongue twister.
That made me scared, Rika.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sick. So you could win a deed to the Terlato wine vineyard located, I think, in the depths of hell. And nobody's ever heard of it. Nobody knows where it is. The wine, it tastes like a bad. You could also win your own suite of broken GE appliances, just like you see on the show. So we're talking an air fryer that doesn't get up to temp, an oven that drops temp, a mandolin that slices your hand off. All of this could be yours.
All the things I've always wanted. Great.
All things that are important for food people. So Carla, I'm gonna freaking start a timer after
Right.
you finish this question 1. Are you ready?
What is time? Let's go.
Let's go.
Right. If you had to guess, who do you think owns the Top Chef cookbook that is featured in this episode? Jordan or Reka?
Oops.
Breakup.
Follow a recipe or freestyle cooking?
Freestyle cooking.
Is Tom Colicchio a gay bear icon?
No.
Best Thanksgiving dish?
Duck.
Worst Thanksgiving dish?
Turkey.
What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Foo Fighters.
Is foam good on food?
Debatable.
Is Jamie fine or is she the worst?
She's okay.
What is the best holiday?
Halloween.
How great are Jordan and Reka?
Awesome.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
Jordan, is everyone getting so smart as we go?
I literally have to start asking harder questions because everyone is just kicking ass at this.
What was the trivia question? The
The
first
trivia
one?
question was, who do you think owns the Top Chef cookbook
I
in this episode? And the correct answer is me, because my dad bought it for me when it came out in stores in the mid 2000s, which is very sweet.
Beautiful. And you had no reason to know that.
No, I just thought it'd be a fun little talking
think
point, you know.
I think it is fun. I think that's
Good
really fun.
question.
And you already won Jordan over by saying your favorite holiday is Halloween.
That's true, mine too.
Oh, did you dress up?
You know, actually, that's kind of the most twisted thing about me is that I'm not that big into the costume element as an adult, but I kind of live a spooky Halloween lifestyle year round.
Yeah.
I am with you on that.
Right.
Yeah. I think there's something copacetic happening. And I'll tell the viewers something that I think was important to Jordan is I have started to like Halloween.
Huge for me this year.
I used to really love it as a kid. And then when I moved to New York, I was like, oh no, this is bad. And then now that I live in LA, I was like really excited for October for the spooky bakes. That's where my kind of spook life lives, is spooky bakes. I don't like scary movies, but I did go to a haunted house, hayride house. Yeah, both. And I loved it. I had a great time. And now I'm a Halloween girl. So
There we go. It is really important and special. If you watch the show, you know that a lot of times Reka will send me a picture of like an ugly thing and a hot thing, like a lizard and a dog, or an ugly man and a hot woman.
okay, the
And she
first
will
thing
say-
you say is ugly and hot is lizard and dog, meaning one of those is
Yeah, lizard is ugly, dog is hot, and I think we all know that. But Reka will always send me pictures like that and be like, "This is us," and I'm always the ugly.
Listen, you always say you're always the ugly. I'm perfectly willing to be the lizard. I
No,
didn't
but-
hate lizards so
Okay,
bad. I'll be the
it
lizard.
started. This is how it started.
The lizard was on a leash. I thought it was cute.
Who puts their lizard on a leash?
Carla, this was huge.
No, not well. And I'm scared of lizards. But this started because Reka would send me a picture of a very ugly white man with a very beautiful Indian woman and say, look, it's us. It's a very tall white man. And so then it evolved to just Reka sending me anything and being like, look, it's us. And I love when she does it. It makes me really happy. And this year she sent me a picture of 2 jack-o'-lanterns and she said, look, it's us. And it felt really special because normally Reka is a huge bitch around Halloween.
Not around your time of the year. No, I get it. Incredible. Great. So, Carla, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that you have a special connection to this episode a little bit, right?
I do. Yes.
And
Very cosmic.
to be honest, when we were booking you, it was just like, oh, Carla is really cool. We should book her. And then I looked at what the episode was after you already said yes. I was like, oh my God, it's the Foo Fighters episode. This is perfect. So yeah, what is your connection to this episode?
Yeah. So aside from being a fan, I was super lucky to land in LA and work on a documentary with the Foo Fighters that Dave directed called What Drives Us. And that is on Amazon Coda Collection. And it's all about like touring in a van and super cool. And another project that I can't talk about yet, but fans will love it. And that will be out sometime next year.
That's
wow, very
awesome.
exciting. I want to know, do you think that the Foo Fighters would like our live stream show, Talk Chef? Do you think they would like it if they watched it?
I think so. Dave is a huge foodie and like grill master and loves Top Chef. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'll take it.
You're saying we're like almost, we're just about this close or so.
To being friends with
Being
Dave
with
Grohl.
Dave Grohl.
Yeah, I think so.
You can tell him my first CD was Nothing Left to Lose by Foo Fighters. And what's interesting is I went to listen to it with my friend. I said, let's listen to the CD together. And I dropped the CD player with the CD in it and it broke in half. So if he has any leftovers that he wants to cook me,
So tell him that.
yeah, you can tell him all of that. So
I will tell him next time I see him.
okay, thank you.
Word for word.
That is ultimately important. But also this episode was timely because, you know, it is the first week of November and this is a Thanksgiving episode, which is fun. A big food holiday. So let's dive into our quick fire. People pull knives and the number on the knife corresponds to a page in the Top Chef cookbook, which Jordan owns. And their challenge is to put their own spin on whatever this recipe is. Now, they all start cooking. And then Padma and Grant A-Cats come in and go, hey, everybody stop. We changed our minds. We want soup. And everyone has to make whatever they're doing into a soup. Now,
Rico, your Padma is great. I just have to
what
come on that. Yeah.
we're this close to booking her.
Yeah, we're this close to being friends with Padma.
So close. We're like this close at least.
So we're so
So close.
really.
So what do we think, before I dive into the dishes, what do we think of this challenge?
I love soup. I'm a soup head. So I was excited by the soup twist. But what was it, like 15 minutes that they gave them then to make the soup? Just doesn't seem like enough time to make a good soup. And yet everybody really showed up in ways that I am so impressed by.
Yeah, and I would say there was some product placement where it was like, and don't worry, guys, I know you chefs don't have time to develop a delicious broth, but our friends at Swanson have dropped off 75 tons of chicken broth into this giant vat in the back that you can use, provided we say their name 3 times. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's also not enough time, but I guess they did it.
Hated this challenge when I thought it was just the cookbook thing. But then when they make it soup and it's only 15 minutes, I love it. I love a too short challenge.
Oh.
I love a twist during the challenge, as long as it's not switching up plates. I'm sure y'all have heard me talk about that before. I don't like when we have to like switch up plates. That feels unjust to me.
Yeah, meaning like switching, like I was cooking dish A and then we switch places and now Jordan's cooking the rest of my dish or whatever.
But Jordan, there's a little bit like that, no? Because like soup and a dish are very different things. And what Leah had the tuna and like how
I will say I like a little twist. I do think this twist is a little rude.
No, Reka, I think this twist is awesome. And you know, I mean, Reka and I are always on opposite sides of the coin. I think this challenge is awesome. And I think the difference for me is that like when you switch up dishes and then they're like, oh, I love the way that the sauce is made. And then it's like, well, you didn't even make the sauce. Like Michael made the sauce. And then you guys switch dishes halfway through. So it feels like kind of a lot of luck. Versus like this where it's like, I feel like you really got to use your noggin.
I think you do have to use your noggin, but can I say the reason it's not my fave is they don't have any control over the original dish that they picked, and some people's soups are much harder to make into a soup than others. So like, you know, I like if you had a vegetable in there, like I thought Jamie's was honestly a little creative, like, okay, cool. Like that's exactly what I would have done. A chickpea soup with like kind of the dressings on a falafel. But I'm like, some of these people had stuff that I don't know what I would do. And actually let's hop in.
I do agree with it. Like, I do agree. I think some people had it harder.
I appreciate that. So Jamie, now some of you may ask, Reka, did you just write the soups or did you write the original dish? And that's really interesting because I did just write the soups. So Jamie got a dish from season 1, Miguel. And this is kind of fun because for some of our viewers that have been watching along, now you know who all of these people are that they're referring to.
We should also see if we can remember the dish. If we can.
It was a deconstructed falafel. This one I remember.
Oh, okay.
And chickpea soup with pickled chilies, cilantro, mint yogurt, and crispy shallots. That sounds great to me. So, yeah. Melissa had an Italian wedding soup with black truffle, parmesan, and linguine.
This sounds good to me. And that was from that challenge where they have to make frozen pasta meals for
Yes. And in season 3, and Hung's partner like didn't listen.
Yeah, and Trey and CJ win. What's the company called? Barilla?
Barilla. Wait, Carla, you said you didn't.
Carla, you say no.
Yeah, it didn't. It sounds good, but the visual, I'm a very visual eater, and the visual of that soup just didn't look appetizing. So
that's so interesting to have someone on the show that's a visual eater, because I would say Reka and I, if I may, Reka, I would say we're the opposite.
I'm a pretty visual eater. I think everything I eat is pretty beautiful, so I don't really know what you're talking about. Carla, the thing Jordan is referring to is a thing that people like about me.
I'm not even referring to that, Reka. You brought it up. I just mean, I feel like you and I are more like smell. And like
I'm fully joking.
You know?
I eat stuff that looks like it fell out of a window. Like everything I bake looks bad, and my roommate will eat it, but like if it tastes good. And the thing I'm about to show you, and I'll show it to you briefly because it upsets Jordan, is, God, why don't I save this as a favorite? You know, I have a picture of a banana on here. Did I show this to you at work, Carla?
I think I've seen
So sick. Carla, it's absolutely sick that you've already seen this picture. I'm so sorry.
Some people in the chat are asking me to show it, so I'm just going to show it because I don't want to.
I think the world deserves to see this.
Thank you. See, this is what I'm saying.
I don't think I ever revealed this, but Reka, we were reached out to by the person that won the picture of the banana. And did I tell you what they did with it?
Did they burn it?
So they hadn't watched that much of the show and they wanted to donate. So they had never seen the picture before it was sent to them. So they received the picture of the banana and it was so ugly that they hung it up in their room backwards. So now they just have the picture of the banana facing the wall and like a blank piece of paper with your signature on the back of it.
Okay, honestly, that is exactly the spirit of the banana, because you have to use this banana in a way that makes sense, right? Like, this is not a banana that wins a prize at a fair. This is a banana you go, okay, can I make this into bread? Can I make this into pancakes? And that's what this person's doing. They're improvising. They're going, okay, I hate this picture. It upsets me. What do I do? Oh, the back is signed. So I see, it's all the same spirit of the banana. So, okay. No, I think, Christine, I think everyone was asking for it. So I think everyone wanted the picture this time. I read it. Someone was texting me about it. Okay, cool. So then next we have Fabio, who made a mushroom and asparagus soup with seared trout and salmon belly.
Sounds good.
Yeah. No, Jason, I didn't drag anybody. I think everyone wanted to see it. So then Carla made a dish from Leah, which was shrimp, tomato, coriander soup with cucumber. That sounds great.
That sounds great.
Leah made a dish that Hung made in season 3, chilled asparagus soup, white asparagus, with brioche tuna and a tapenade.
This sounds so good to me.
Mm-hmm. Stefan made a Thai green curry bisque with shrimp and scallop dumplings. This also, I think most people kind of knocked this out of the park.
Yeah, and soup is delicious. I mean, I fully agree with Carla. I'm a soup freak, so yeah, I think, you know, it's an easier canvas than some other things.
Yes. Ariane made a dish that Dale made. It made diced lamb eggplant, red pepper, and couscous soup. You know, to me, I'm like, is this soup?
Say no.
Yeah. I think this is another type of food I like to eat, which is a pile of stuff. Danny, Jordan's favorite, made a ham and egg soup with sauteed mushrooms, corn, and cheese. Now, I am sure it tasted good. If I read ham and egg soup on a menu, I might think, okay, if this had sort of like Chinese profiles, like egg drop kind of thing, I'm in. But my first instinct was like hard-boiled eggs chopped up in a soup, and that sounds disgusting to me. So I'm like, do you have a picture of it in the back?
I would try it for the crazy factor. It makes me think of croque madame or something.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. Yeah, and just to be clear, Danny is not my favorite. Rake is making fun of me because maybe Danny is like the sweetest, nicest person in the world right now, but during his time on this season, I felt like if I saw him in a bar, he would call me a slur that rhymes with bike for what I am. And I just, that's just a vibe I get from him, but also that could be me projecting,
No, he seems gross. It's possibly he's grown in the last, whatever years, but he says some like gross sexist shit on this season.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what you do in front of cameras? Okay.
Yeah, I would love for him to have grown.
That would be beautiful. Drop it in the chat if he's grown. Okay. So if you know him personally. Okay, so Richard made a dish from Sarah M in, I think, season 3, black bean and roasted papaya pepper soup on top of rice. Now, I think this sounds good. I don't know if it's soup. It looked almost like an etouffee.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to eat soup over rice unless it's gumbo, and that's like its own whole thing.
Yes, and we already know it was missing some acid.
Yeah.
So then on top we get Jamie, Leah, and Daniel. Weirdly, we do not have any bottom, and Leah is the winner.
That makes sense. Her seemed awesome.
Her seemed good. And she's like, Leah's disposition is one of my pet peeves. It is the like blasé person who like is over it before it starts. Like I have no patience for people that like don't care about a single thing and think it is lame to care. And that is sort of her vibe. And she's like, I hate white asparagus. And then she made an incredible soup. So
I think Jamie has that same vibe. They're both just like kind of whiny and apathetic. And I too, along with Reka, many people have pointed on the show where Reka and I are both strong Aries. So Reka and I are not apathetic about anything. And that personality type rubs us the wrong way.
Yes.
Carla, what's your star sign? I don't care about this, but people in the chat love it.
Okay, well, I was gonna ask if you're also a triple fire like Reka is, which you are. Oh my god!
Wait, I didn't know that, Jordan.
Triple Aries is what I've been told. That's what I've been told.
I'm Aries, Leo.
But I don't really know much about astrology in general. I just know people meet me and they're like, "Oh yes, you are an Aries."
Yeah,
that's a lot of fire. I'm triple water. I'm Cancer, Pisces.
Okay. Yeah. So calm, chill.
Yes, but also like the ocean can be quite unruly,
Sure.
It depends.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Thanks, Reka.
You're welcome. Yeah. The elimination challenge. Cooking Thanksgiving dinner for the Foo Fighters in 2 teams.
Love this.
And they find out they've kind of got like a little weird appliance set up. It also starts to rain. We get Richard's comment that Tom is a hottie gay bear icon, which is a common theme you see in Top Chef, that people will refer to him as that. I have only heard that on Top Chef. It's like when someone's like, God, I always have to deal with DMs from so-and-so or whatever. And you're like, do you? Like, I've never, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I guess.
No shade to Tom. He just
shade to Tom. It's just, I've only ever heard that discourse on this show.
I also think some gay guys have been like, oh, he's hot, which like, okay, I hear you. But to hear him called a bear is very funny.
Right. Also, especially because Richard is like a very tall.
Yes, Richard is a bear.
Yeah. And then we also get a quote from Fabio. He goes, "It has started to rain in my tiramisu," which
that was the best.
Very endearing.
I love Fabio. What a good guy. Also, there's a Donald Trump mention in this.
Oh my God, from Danny. He goes, because they were like, who's the special guest going to be? And he goes, well, I think it's going to be Donald Trump because he's the richest and most powerful man in the world.
And there was like excitement in the possibility of that.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, how times have changed.
He's only gotten more powerful since
and it's
this episode.
Danny ultimately is the one who started that.
Yeah, he manifested it.
The secret.
Yeah.
So we get 2 teams. We get Team Cougar, and they make a comment. They're like, Ariane's kind of sexy. She's a cougar. And then there's some weird editing around that. And then Team Sexy Pants, and they go, we don't know why we chose it. We're random. So that's okay.
I felt really bad about the cougar stuff because I was like, are they making fun of her? And it made me feel kind of weird. But then she was like, I don't know why they call me a cougar, but it makes me smile.
Yeah, exactly. I also felt a little weird about it until a nickname should be approved by everyone.
Yeah.
Especially when there is no woman above the age of like 35 on the show. So beautiful. So for Team Cougar, the dishes weren't outlined super well. Like they didn't really do lower thirds for a few of them. So I wrote down what I could. Danny made sweet potatoes and a roasted garlic puree with shallots. Now, that is something I make.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a Top Chef dish. So I'm going to give that a thumbs down.
Rake convinced me.
Yeah. I'm sure it is totally fine. I'm just like, Danny, you're on a TV show.
He does not know that in any way, shape, or form. He has not registered that he is on television.
Absolutely. Jeff makes spoon bread stuffing with figs. Now, I'm gonna eat that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Jeff McInnes. He Miami chef. I've gone to like all of his restaurants.
Yes, Carla is from Miami. Fun fact.
Yes, Carla. And I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. I meant to mention this to you as well. We're neighbors.
Cool. So yeah, I like love his food. I think he's crazy talented, and yeah, that's what I'll say.
Yes. We chatted about him a little bit because he's part of one of the only across season romances on the show.
Or romances in general.
Was that Janine? Oh, right. Okay.
Food. So he was.
They now have children and a restaurant together, and yeah, okay.
He was married with a kid during this season, and so there's hazy rumors. We don't know, and we don't know. So he made spoon bread. Okay, then Alex. That's all we know. Also about Jeff. Alex made a 5-cheese mac and cheese with bacon. I think that sounds good. I do. It's my criteria is loose because I don't think that sounds like special enough for Top Chef, but I know that mac and cheese takes a lot of work. So
it's Thanksgiving.
And it is Thanksgiving. Yes.
Gotta have mac and cheese.
Ariane made roasted turkey confit with mushroom gravy and cranberries.
Yum.
Yeah, it sounds great. And they were also kind of giving her grief about like cooking it, and then she ended up crushing it. Eugene made a maple smoked pork loin.
This looked good, and I thought it was awesome that he set up that grill. Like I've said about Eugene before, I feel like he's the only person on this show who's like cooking. And that sounds crazy, but like Carla in another episode, they like have a bunch of food none of them have ever tried before, and he's the only one to actually taste it. Like I feel like he's just doing things where I'm like, oh yeah, you're like actually cooking, you're thinking, it makes sense.
I think you can tell he's encountered like an issue in the kitchen before.
Yeah.
Like, things have not gone to plan for him, and he's always recovered or tried to recover. Sure. And sometimes you'll see chefs on the show, like of course that is like every one of these chefs has had to deal with a problem or something in the kitchen, but you just feel like Eugene's like not one to get hung up on it. He's like, all right, what's my next move kind of thing.
Yeah.
Richard made banana s'mores topped with vanilla cream and chocolate ganache.
This sounds good to me, and it looked good to me, and none of them liked it, but I think I would still like it.
But s'mores to order? Like no. I thought it was a bad move from the beginning.
Yeah. I think a la minute anything in this situation is kind of probably not a good idea. I do think also like it was a little confusing. I'm like, did you just brulee bananas in between 2 graham crackers and then put a little bit of chocolate and that weird foam on top? Again, this is like something I would make that ultimately I would not serve to someone else, because I'm like, this is just like kitchen sink snack. Like this is just what's left over. Now here's something I know Jordan's gonna have an opinion about. Jeff, our boy, made fruit salad with pumpkin mousse.
No. Fruit salad is not dessert. Putting mousse on top of fruit salad sucks. Fruit is lame. It's just do something with it. I don't know. This is boring to me. It feels like chefy Miami, like it like tracked with what his thing was, but I don't want it, and I especially don't want it at Thanksgiving.
Yes, Carla, how do you feel about? Firstly, you should know Jordan doesn't really care for fruit as much as the average person.
Sure.
So what do you think about this dessert?
I love fruit. I love Jeff, but I think he could have done without it. Absolutely, and could have just stuck with his other thing. I felt bad that Taylor called it a barfait.
Yes, he did. He was punchy.
Taylor's very punny, so I was unsurprised.
Yeah, that's very funny. Yeah, I love fruit. Fruit is not a dessert. That I think is just, I don't think that's controversial. I don't think it's political.
We all know that, yeah.
I think that's just not a dessert. It's just something different. And I would eat a pumpkin mousse. I just think this is not a dessert. So it doesn't meet the brief. And I think Jeff gets a little obsessed with making the most amount of things in this season.
He's an overachiever for sure.
Yes, at the expense of making them good or have like heart to them, when it is clear he obviously can. So this to me is just like, see, I made a dessert too. And it's like, yeah, that's not a dessert. Whereas your namesake, Carla Hall, peach and cherry cobbler with vanilla cream. Now, I don't like cherries very much, and neither does Jordan, but I would eat this.
I hate cherries, but Carla made it look so good. I would eat that.
I would eat it. Honestly, I would truly eat any dessert she makes on this show. She's one of the only people in the whole series that, like, when they're assigned a dessert, they don't just fucking barf into a plate.
Yeah, she's excited about it.
Yeah, she's like, what can I pull out? Yeah.
I have to say, I hate that people think dessert is an afterthought. It is so not an afterthought. Even like you go on restaurant websites and they don't have desserts on so many restaurant menu websites.
It makes me sick.
I want to see the desserts.
I want to see the desserts. It makes me sick, Carla. Do you know, Carla mentioned Frankie and Joe's, an ice cream place in Seattle. Do you know how many times, for no reason, I don't live there, I'm just looking at the menu being like, here's what I would order today.
Wow, I'm going to Seattle next week. Should I go?
Yes. It's
Okay.
a
That's what I would get.
shop.
I
It's
would get the
amazing.
golden milk. I would get the tahini super chunk cookie. I would get the what is it? The mint brownie. Again, have never been here.
Rose beet strawberry.
I would get that.
Strawberry.
Yep.
Okay.
I would try one of their seasonals. Again, have not been here. But dessert is important. It's not an afterthought. It is good. It is pure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rachel, you need a minute to take a breath.
I am gonna have a heart attack. Okay, so Team Sexy Pants made. So Jamie made I guess, a white chicken turkey gravy. I don't actually know what that is, so I don't. Radhika made vegan cornbread stuffing. Listen, this is not a spoiler, only because this is such an old season. Radhika does not come back in later seasons, and I wish she did. She's the first Indian contestant on this show, and she is one of two or three Indian people, maybe one of four South Asians on this show.
She's
And
the first.
She's what?
She's the first.
Yes.
Season 5. Wow.
Yes. And I love her, and I wish she'd come back. So I'm here for this vegan cornbread stuffing.
We should honestly, I feel like we could message her and be like, hey, go on the show again.
Go on the show. Go on the show. Come on. Come on. Okay, then Melissa made yams with marshmallows. Again, this is a thing where I'm using my arbitrary. I'm like, yes, that is a Thanksgiving thing. I would eat that, but I'm like, we are on a TV show. Nobody, and I guess it's unfair to judge her. Everybody is just making very classic shit. So I'll eat it. Somebody made a roasted corn salad. Fabio made a joke that he didn't make it. So I don't know who made this, but you know I'm going to eat anything that has corn in it.
You know what, Reka, this is sick, but I'm going to give it a thumbs down because corn's not in season. Top Chef for making a corn salad.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, if it was like maybe a corn.
Here's what I'll say.
Or something where they're using canned like cream corn or something. I'd be like,
Here's
okay,
what I'll
that
say.
makes sense to me.
It probably was not November when they filmed this. A little production secret. They'll film filming could start in June and it could be 10 weeks of filming, but they know that this will premiere during Thanksgiving.
Okay, but they still know it's a Thanksgiving challenge. So maybe if it was a different challenge, because I agree with you, and I was like, maybe it wasn't a Thanksgiving challenge, yes, but as a Thanksgiving challenge, I was like, that feels weird to me.
Sure. I guess I associate corn with everything, so it didn't strike me as weird. Fabio made roasted pumpkin, honey, and cinnamon tiramisu. I know, Jordan, I know. It has
Really?
It has, let me point
like.
out every component of it that Jordan is not interested in. Pumpkin, cinnamon, and tiramisu.
Yeah, I don't
Tiramisu has coffee and Jordan doesn't like coffee. I know.
I'm wrong. And I know I'm wrong. And I take the L on that. Like that coffee is good and I don't like it. Like there are certain things about that. And I'm not a very picky eater, but when it comes to, like some sweet stuff that's really popular, like I'm not big. I like roasted squash and stuff, but I don't really like pumpkin desserts. But I'll tell you, Reka, this weekend I had some pumpkin pie with lemon zest in it. And I actually thought it was delicious.
Okay.
What about pumpkin soup?
I love pumpkin soup. I love a pumpkin soup, little creme fraiche on top, maybe some roasted pumpkin seeds, like that I love.
Mm-hmm. Hosea made a peach and blueberry crust with cinnamon cream. Oh, Jordan doesn't like cinnamon either. I didn't point that out in the previous thing. I would eat this.
This looked good to me, at least.
So the winning team is Team Sexy Pants, and they get to go to a Foo Fighters concert, which is cool and is happening seemingly minutes after eating 2 Thanksgiving dinners.
That was a little weird. Like they had to change of clothes. Now we're in the concert. Everyone else is packing up.
Oh my God, I feel like shit.
Music. I was like, oh, okay.
30 seconds after they left the table, they're on stage dancing.
Very confusing. I did feel bad. To me, it feels too harsh to not let the other team go to the concert. I think it's too big of a loss.
Here's what I think is harsh. I think let them go back. I think don't make them clean 2 teams worth of dishes plus all the guests. Like, I think that sucks.
Yeah.
Or let them go to the concert and then make whatever it is. I think it is very sad because then you see in the stew room, they're all in concert gear and then all the losing chefs are in their chef attire. And then Danny gives them the finger and they're all upset. And in the end, Richard is eliminated.
Sad.
Yeah. It is sad. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did we think? Do we like this episode?
Yeah, I liked that Jeff didn't get eliminated.
Okay, we have a Jeff stan.
You're Jeff stan. Yeah, you love Jeff.
I do. It's been so long that I forgot who actually got eliminated in this episode. Yeah. And I was really rooting for Jeff to not get eliminated. But I think the entertainment thing is cool. Thanksgiving is cool. A lot of the twists and turns and surprises. Grant Achatz, I think this is shortly after he battled tongue cancer too.
Yes.
So, which is a crazy story. And him coming on here was really neat to see him. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like this episode. I think it's fun. I think it's kind of it's their first rider challenge they've had. And they only do a few in the whole series, but I think that's fun. What's on your rider? What are the Foo Fighters like? Kind of thing. I think that's fun. They've done wedding stuff, the bride loves chocolate or whatever.
One with a country singer.
Yes, they do that in season in Kentucky, I think.
Yeah, right. I didn't find, no offense to him, I'm sure he's watching, I didn't think he was as fun as the Foo Fighters.
That's the thing. That was to me, in The Bachelor, when they go on a one-on-one date and I have a surprise for you, and then they open a curtain and there's someone you've absolutely never heard of.
They're it's Bigsby Fruit playing.
He's Bigsby Fruit. I danced to Bigsby Fruit at my first dance. That's impossible. That's not true. This person looks 16. They were found on Craigslist. This is not a real performer. That is what that later season 1 felt like.
Yes.
Also, there was a lot of love to vegetarians, like had to make all these vegetarian dishes well, we didn't see that. Well, I guess we did see a bunch.
They just didn't lower third a lot of them, but you're right. There were a lot of vegetarian dishes, which is great.
And I feel like, what was this, 2009? That wasn't so.
It wasn't, right? Like making a vegan stuffing would probably be grounds for people like not eating it,
Yeah.
you know, at that time. I feel like veganism is still the butt of jokes, but like, especially at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It is funny. Elaine is pointing out the chefs being like, these guys are rock stars. And it is funny because the Top Chef camera people only had like a couple angles and they absolutely artificially slowed down the shots of them walking in a way where they didn't film it at 60 FPS. So there weren't enough frames for it to actually look very cool for them to be walking in slow-mo. And that's just a little editor thing that I believe is true about that.
I love that. I thought this episode was awesome. I loved both parts of it. I loved I know, hot take, but I loved the soup quick fire. That's something like I feel like I would do to myself. You know what I mean? Like I'd start making something and I'd be like, I'm gonna turn this into a soup. But like
Jordan. Okay.
What?
All of you tell me your opinions on this. So I did a vegetarian Whole30 in like 2016 when all of our friends.
Yeah, with me.
Yes, but you had a time with it. So I didn't know when you came in and when you came out.
I couldn't do the Whole30. That's what Rega's trying to tell everyone. I couldn't do the Whole30, okay? Physically and mentally, I'm not well enough. Okay, continue with your story.
But one of the only places it was like a Who Cafe or something. I got like I got some sort of like Whole30 compliant salad where I was annoying and asked all the people, like every single ingredient, and it was like rough fucking kale and like nothing fun in it, and it tasted bad. And I don't like throwing food out, so I went home and I made it into a soup. And I posted that in the Whole30 group thinking, what a triumph. I'm cool. And everyone was disgusted. Now, and I was like, but a salad is just a deconstructed soup. This is what goes into your soup, plus some like aromatics and shit. What do you guys think? And keep in mind, it was like a Whole30 salad. It's not like there's ranch on it. It's like olive oil and lemon and salt and pepper were the dressing.
Are we allowed to ask follow-up questions?
Yeah.
What was the lettuce?
It was a kale, which was ultimately that was part of why.
Yes, kale?
Yes.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, and it was butternut squash.
Fine with that. I don't think it probably tasted that good. And I don't think I would like order it at a restaurant or do it myself, but that's better to me. The idea of someone taking like a romaine lettuce salad or like spring, one of my least favorite things, spring mix from a bag, like turned into soup, that haunts my dreams. So that's where I draw
like wet lettuce. Yes, this was kale and butternut squash and some like pumpkin seeds and shit like that.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
but
it tastes really bad.
Salad and soups are not one and the same. Or like, two sides of one coin, I think.
Maybe.
I have a book, Rick, I think you would really appreciate. It's a vegan soup book, actually, and it's called Soups On.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all soups under 30 minutes. So all the recipes are under 30 minutes. They're all vegan. It's all soups. And it's split into like heavier and more like broth based and all the kind of different foundations.
Okay. I'm looking. Whoa, Valerie Phillips, hello. Okay, I'll check this out. I'm looking for new cookbooks all the time. Yeah, so overall, like, we liked this episode.
We like this episode. I want to know, Carla, what is your favorite season? You don't have to know the number, just like, who is in it or where it is or whatever. And who is your favorite contestant of all time? And who's your least favorite contestant of all time?
Here we go.
I wish I had better memory.
You can just give us like, they made this, they did so, we could probably narrow it down.
Figure it out, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have a handful. I love Carla Hall. And I've met her and she's rad. And I love, obviously, Jeff McInnes. I think my favorite contestant is Nina Compton. Also, like, Miami person, or like, worked in Miami for a long time, and her food is ridiculous. And Dale, who also went on to open a restaurant in Miami, and I actually competed in a bao bun eating competition. He was my partner.
Carla, wait, sorry. We have to rewind. Something I didn't mention to you in the Grand Crew room, we would be sharing a lot of anecdotes and stuff. All of Carla's anecdotes are so crazy. I'm gonna paraphrase. I'm gonna butcher this. You like participated in like a clam eating contest.
Oyster. It was oyster.
You ate like 40 oysters in 10 minutes or something crazy.
Oh, I ate 26 in 1 minute, and I lost. If you can believe it.
Yeah. What are okay? Here are the things that, if I'm allowed to share, the things that Carla has shared. Yeah, was in an oyster eating contest. Your first job was you were a living mannequin at Wet Seal.
Correct.
Meaning she stood at the
Yeah.
Brittany feels sick. She has to go.
Well, Wet. I know that they used to do that with like big muscular boys at like Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister, but Wet Seal had that.
Yes.
Okay. And so then now you were in a bao bun eating contest. And which Dale, by the way? Are we talking season 3 Miami or season 4 Chicago?
Dale Tall.
Dale Talde. Okay, so
Yeah.
season 4. Great.
Yeah. At the time, he did not have a Miami restaurant, but he opened something in Miami like 7 years ago. And yeah.
How many buns did you eat? What the fuck happened?
That one I did not win. And it was mushroom buns. At this point of my life, I was pescatarian. So I requested that the contest be vegetarian and not be like pork buns. And one of my friends who was competing in the contest with me hates mushrooms. So I sabotaged him, which felt great. I think Jeff was also in the contest. I'm going to have to find some photos of this.
What is this story?
And it wasn't Jeff, it was Janine. Here, I'll find. Hold on.
Yeah, find us a video or something, because we're trying to
send me the newspaper clipping. And like, what do you win? And who's organizing all of these crazy contests you're entering?
That's a great question. It was like Miami restaurants. Just here's a link with some photos. Let's see if my memory serves me right. Oh yeah, Jeff. You see, he's right there. Great.
Oh my God. Wow. Well, incredible. I'm sorry you guys didn't win. Maybe round 2, maybe. I mean, wow, you got to get the whole crew back together. Dale, Jeff, Janine, you.
Yeah, we got to have a redo. So those are my favorites. It's all like the Miami people. And my least favorite, oh gosh, I think I just tuned them out. So unlikable.
Well, I don't want to pitch anyone for you, but I do feel it is telling that you stopped at season 11 after a certain somebody beat a certain somebody. I don't know you dislike that person or if you just really like the person that didn't win, but
both.
Yeah. I buy that. I think that winner, there's a weird string of winners that you're like, I would say the season 11 winner, the season 13 winner, you're kind of like, I don't know, I'm not a fan. Season 9, certainly. Season 8 finals. There's huh?
Hey, and season 18. Let's
go. Yeah. So there's some unlikable folks. I would say my least favorite person. No, I'll say that's too spicy. It's too spicy.
Reka.
It's not, I mean, I guess I just felt bad just interjecting my least favorite. It's Mike Isabella has got to be one of my least favorite people.
Dude, that's not too spicy. He's a pervert.
I agree with you. I forgot about him. Yeah.
Isabella and Alex from season 7 are like 2 of my least favorite.
Yeah, they're both awful. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That'd be like me being like, it's too spicy to say, but one of my least favorite people is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. That's exactly. No, what I meant was I don't like just being like only negative. So I'm like, okay, then I should talk about the people I like too. Like I love Nina Compton. I think Carl Hall is one of my favorites of the whole series. I think Kristen Kish is incredible. Melissa King, obviously. Stephanie Seymour, obviously. These are all our royalty. We love them.
Our royalty.
So Fabio, for entertainment factor, he's great. And also opened a restaurant in Miami, short-lived, but he did it, and really charismatic. And
yeah. He hosts the only Top Chef like reunion special, a very weird, perverted episode that I think comes out after this season. It's very awkward to me, where it's just people from different seasons having a catch up. And he's like the host. It's like, oh, I'm hosting my dinner. Oh, Christina's referring to Michael from season 11, who calls Nina Boo Boo all the time. He is deeply annoying. He's one of the New Orleans guys.
Oh yeah, he's awful.
Yeah, he's very annoying. Beautiful. Well, Carla, where can people find you or find your work or just get more from you?
Oh gosh, I rarely post on Instagram, but my Instagram is cosmic.carlucha. Yeah, and stay tuned for something coming out in 2022.
Okay.
Featuring the Foo Fighters.
Okay.
Yeah. Check out what drives it.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute.
And Grand Crew. Hello.
Oh, January, maybe on NBC. Wait a minute, Carla. There's a Bravo producer in here that's telling me something. What? I'm on the clock. What the hell? What the absolute hell? Oh, really? Okay, wow. Carla, I'm just getting word that you are Top Chef.
And I didn't even have to cook anything. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's important that you bring that up because a lot of people don't know there are actually 2 ways to become a Bravo Top Chef, and we will keep saying this until Bravo sends us a cease and desist. You can either be on the Bravo reality TV cooking competition Top Chef, or you can be a guest on the live stream podcast YouTube show for charity Talk Chef.
Mm-hmm. Either way, an Indian woman will tell you you're Top Chef. And it's kind of cool.
I like this way better. So
thank you. So annoying. Carla, thank you so much for joining us. You're a true delight. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And check us out next week for season 5, episode 4. Wow, can you believe?